Hi everyone, John here for JPTV with midweek thoughts for week number 37, talking about the latest news with the story of 52 Palestinians killed and 2,400 wounded according to official reports, which is the deadliest day of violence since the 2014 Gaza war. Now, as everybody knows me and has been watching the videos either on this channel or on the previous channel, I'm not a big fan of war. I don't see the point of it. It's idiotic, it's childish to think to show your strength without actually talking to people, by actually killing people instead, or fighting people. I don't think fighting or war is the way forward in any shape or form, and this is another example of a lot of people dying for no reason. The two Britons I discussed in the video last week have now been released and then unharmed. And it was also come out, so there's more information about the story, that a lady called Rachel Masika Baraka, I think you pronounced that. Apologies for anybody watching in the Congolese area, or their family for that matter. Apologies if I have actually pronounced that name wrong. But this was the park ranger that was killed looking after these journalists. So I just want to say I'm glad that these guys have been released and that everybody's well. The next one we will need to talk about this is a bit of a personal one for me. Margot died at the age of 69. Now, for those who aren't familiar with her name, she is the lady that played the original Lois Lane in the original Superman films. Very, very talented actress. Very, very funny at comedy as well, but it was sorely missed. The details of her death haven't been reported as yet, but I'm sure they will be in the coming days and weeks. I'm hoping it's just nothing more than natural causes, but it's a big loss. Because I say she was in some of my favourite films when I was growing up. I say that was just in all the original Superman movies except the last one. I don't think she was in Superman 4, but nobody should have been. Now it's also come out today that 1 in 3 people suffer with insomnia. Now this is weird, that it's that amount of people. Now, a lot of it is being categorized as down to stress. A lot of it is being categorized down to a lot of it is being categorized as an imbalance in the hormones. But as I say, it's weird that this value of statistic is out there, that 1 in 3 people suffer with it. I suffer with bad sleeping. I don't suffer with insomnia, but I'm hardly ever get in a restless sleep. I know people that are insomniacs for one reason or another, medically, alcoholic or whatever, but they are. But unfortunately, it's a worrying statistic. Now, there's a news story that's come out as well, which is condemning antibiotics, because apparently antibiotics are the main cause of life-threatening allergic reactions during surgery. A new report suggests by the Royal College of Anaesthesists. It says that more patients are claiming to be allergic to penicillin, leading to other riskier antibiotics being used. Now the problem is, penicillin is so widely available in various forms. You can get it in there is some penicillin, little bits of penicillin in paracetamol, ibuprofen, etc., etc. It's a very, very commonly used painkiller. But it's worrying it really is worrying. Again, this is a worrying week, and I'm sure you guys are thinking along the same sort of lines, that it is worrying that there's so many people are dying. I mean, there was a story that came out while I was researching this story. That there are people that have had heart risks because of it. Their blood temperature drops because of various different things, and so it's again, we've got to be careful, people, with what medication we're taking over the counter, because at the end of the day, your body can only sustain so much. Now, also going back to what I said about the education system last week, or Sunday, I should say, failing children and their parents failing children as well. There's been a sharp rise in children under 11 for mental health referrals for mental health treatment by schools in the last 4 years. So basically, anybody that was 10, basically the very, very difficult time between being a child and transferring into an adult is causing more and more kids more and more stress. Again, very, very worrying that mental health is so widespread nowadays. Mental health deficiencies. I mean, as I said in previous videos, I've suffered with depression. I will always suffer with it. It's never a good thing. It's not a good thing when you're my age. It's not a good thing when you're a tenth of my age. It's not a good thing when you're a third of my age. It's not a good thing at all. People need to be more caring for each other. People need to be more supportive and just less shit to each other. Let's be frank. Let's be frank on this. I'm going to go off topic for a moment, but it's a valid rant. Okay, people always complain. I know I can only speak as a Londoner from this, that people always complain that nobody talks on the trains and tubes and buses to each other. Nobody talks anymore. And the reason for it is because this world has become so politically correct, it's actually going the other way into getting incorrect now. For example, you're not allowed to talk to somebody. A man can't talk to a woman on the tube without it being misinterpreted as a sexual advance. Just commenting on, saying if a woman looks good. Not just on the tube, but at workplace. It's so bad that we have to worry about every single thing we're thinking. Now, if we're doing this as adults, this is being transferred onto kids. Okay, these kids are going to be basically picking up on these things right from the word go. Once they start realizing start realizing that the words you're speaking to them, the context of the words that is being used, etc., kids will pick up on it. Kids pick up on every single thing, and nobody really seems to realize this. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this situation now. Okay, kids will pick up on you calling them a little bugger, and I guarantee you in 10, 15 years time, your 4 or 5-year-old you're calling a little sod is going to call their kid a little sod, or their friends a little sod, or you as a parent a little sod, a big sod, or a fucking sod. The kids get it. It's got nothing to do with mixing in with other kids. It's got to do with what you're saying around your children. You don't even realize it. It's got to do with the TV programs that you're watching. Okay, so I'm just going to go back on track now. So, as I say, we need to be, as a society, we need to be more caring about each other. We need to look out for each other. We need to be more polite to each other, and we basically need to stop being such shits to each other. That's basically it. That's the message of this week, because all these stories, with the exception of the death of Margot Kidder, the rest, everything else here is basically the fact that we're not looking after ourselves, and we're not looking after each other, and we're not treating each other with respect properly. And this is the worrying thing. It's only getting worse. Yes, okay, we're in a 24-hour media society nowadays. 24 news all the time. You pick up your phone, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, whatever. But this is the world we live in nowadays, people, and we've got to be mindful of this. We've got to look after each other, and that's it. That's all I've got to say on it. So it's a little bit longer than I was originally planning, but shorter than the usual videos. So if you like what I'm saying, feel free to put in the comments what you think of this. I mean, what do you feel about the society, people? This is my question to you. What do you feel about society? What could you do to change how people are? What would you introduce? Would you revert back to certain things that we used to do? For example, would you revert back for actually being a gentleman and holding a door open for somebody, or getting up off your seat if it's a pregnant woman or a disabled person needing your seat but is too proud to ask you for the seat? There are certain people out there that aren't too proud to ask for your seat, and there are a lot of thugs out there, the verbal thug. But that's my question to you, everybody. Feel free to put your comments in there, what you feel about the subjects I've mentioned. Have I gone over things too quickly? Have I spent too long talking on other things? I say the rant was was unplanned, but it's what I feel. So thank you very much for watching. As I say, feel free to put any comments in the comments below. Feel free to share this with any of your friends, family, work colleagues, people you don't like, people you do like. Please subscribe to the channel. You know, this channel's been up and running for, was it 10 days now? We've got 4 subscribers. It's not bad. It could be better. I know you're out there, people. I know you're out there and watching. So in the meantime, and also please click the notification bell if you want to get first dibs on these videos. So in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you soon.